I can't see her doing something like that. I mean, she's super intelligent.
The world he knew shattered. His wife, the woman he loved, held a darkness he never imagined. Welcome to Cam's Don't Lie. Can you imagine discovering your wife is a killer? This video dives into the shocking moment a husband learns his spouse is a murderer. We'll uncover the clues, the investigation, and the devastating consequences. Zach and Ashley, his brilliant wife, couldn't possibly be a murderer. Yet here he was, in a sterile interrogation room. The weight of suspicion heavy in the air. Taylor Wright, Ashley's friend, lay dead on their property, and the police weren't buying Zach's desperate disbelief.
Can you tell me how you came to know Taylor?
Through working PI cases.
Okay.
She'd come over to our house every now and then. She met my wife. They became friends.
Work connection, Zach choked out. PI cases. He recalled Taylor's visits, the easy camaraderie with Ashley. It felt like a lifetime ago. A knot formed in his stomach. No, he lied. Then a memory surfaced, a tiny inconsistency, a chipped veneer in Ashley's perfect facade. It had gnawed at him, a nagging suspicion buried beneath his love.
Did you guys ever have a falling out or?
Never. From doing this job for so long, I would just pick up little lies from her. Stuff just didn't start seeming right, and she would disappear for days. You couldn't get her on the phone. Greg and I would try to call her. You couldn't get her on the phone.
He hadn't wanted to see it. There were moments, he admitted, his voice strained. Ashley's work kept her on the move sometimes. She'd disappear for days, unreachable. He'd brushed it off, trusting her explanations. But Taylor's disappearance this time felt different, a chilling silence that stretched into weeks. Now the truth loomed, a monstrous possibility he couldn't ignore. At first, the cops dismissed Taylor's vanishing act. Everything in her apartment was untouched, but a closer look revealed odd texts sent to her friends, messages completely out of character.
I mean, I'm sure now you've read the news and everything.
Yeah.
So you kind of know the date that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a chance to go back and pinpoint where you were on the 8th of September?
You, of course, have seen the news by now. You likely know the date we're circling. September 8th. Can you tell us where you were that day?
I can't remember, but I'm trying to do the very best I can so I could tell y'all the best I can. I went to the bank yesterday to pull my statement. I know I ate lunch at the seafood place at 9 Mile in Pine Forest. I ate there, and I remember eating by myself, and I remember Ash not being able to make it because she was tied up with work.
Zach's memory clouds. He strains to dredge up details. Honestly, it's fuzzy, but I'm trying my best. Pulled my bank statement yesterday. Lunch at the seafood place by 9 Mile in Pine Forest. Solo trip. Remember, Ash was swamped with work, couldn't make it. Taylor vanished on September 8th. Zach, attempting to piece together his alibi, mentions a solitary lunch verified by his debit card purchase. So far, so good. But the detail about Ashley's workload hangs heavy. Zach seems genuinely unaware of the suspicion swirling around her. He knows the police have questioned his wife, but oblivious to the fact she's now their prime suspect. They're not after the big picture here. They're probing for cracks, searching for a connection between Zach and the murder, or maybe a seed of doubt about the woman he loves.
Do you know anything about your finances?
No, to be honest. I give her when I work a case or I got a settlement from my attorney, I hand it straight to Ash. She takes care of everything.
Ashley's finances were a mystery to Zach. He confessed, "Honestly, I don't know anything. I give her everything. Settlements, case fees. She handles it all." The detectives pressed, "Do you know about the $34,000 Taylor gave Ashley for safekeeping?" A flicker of confusion crossed Zach's face. "No, absolutely not. She never mentioned it." This jarred with his earlier claim of complete financial ignorance. They explained the situation. Taylor, fearing a divorce, entrusted Ashley with the money. But Ashley, it seemed, had diverted it. Their suspicion hung heavy in the air. Coincidentally, the detective continued, Taylor only asked for it back on September 8th. This date, seemingly insignificant to Zach, held a deeper meaning for the detectives.
Property up on Britt Road,
Mm-hmm.
and that's owned by her aunt and uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been out there?
Yeah.
They had another question. The body was found on your aunt and uncle's property near Britt Road. Ever been there? Zach, oblivious to the building tension, simply replied, yeah.
When's the last time you think you were out there?
The last time I went out there is when I traded my four-wheeler for a side-by-side. And that's the last time I've been. Before that, it was, I couldn't tell you.
Well, when was that?
A couple months back.
Your phone number, the 554 number, do you always keep that on you?
Yeah, I reckon.
Do you ever loan it out to anybody?
No.
Okay.
No.
Would you
No.
ever loan it to anybody? Or
No.
do you remember Ashley ever using it, taking it with her?
No. Never.
Okay, did it ever get lost or stolen or anything and get replaced?
No, not that I recall.
Okay.
Little did he know this seemingly innocent answer would be another piece in the puzzle the detectives were assembling. So when was the last time you used your old phone, the one with a 554 number? The detective pressed. Zach furrowed his brow, trying to recall. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Probably a couple months back when I traded it in for this side-by-side. And you always keep it with you, right? Never lend it out? Nope, never. Not even to Ashley? Denial flickered in Zach's eyes. No, never. The detective leaned forward, a grim expression on his face. That's interesting, because phone records placed Ashley's phone at the same location where Taylor's body was found on the 8th. And even more interesting, they show Taylor's phone at a wedding Ashley attended the very next day. A cold dread washed over Zach. Taylor? At the wedding? But she wasn't there. The detective's silence hung heavy. Exactly. Taylor vanished after the 8th, and Ashley's phone records paint a very different picture. We're just confirming you wouldn't have loaned your old phone out, eliminating any doubt it was you using it. Zach felt a pit forming in his stomach. He was in over his head. The truth, whatever it was far more sinister than he could have imagined. Despite cooperating, fully answering questions, and offering explanations, the detectives pressed Zach further. They wanted to know about the physical evidence.
Do you know how Taylor died?
For Ackerman told me that the girl was shot, and he heard that from Mulchan.
So Ackerman told you and he got it from Mulchan?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he elaborate on anything else?
He just said that they thought the girl was shot.
Okay.
They believe the victim was shot, a detective stated. Did you hear anything about this from Mulchan? Yeah, Ackerman told me that Mulchan mentioned it, Zach confirmed cautiously. Did he say anything else? Just that they suspect a gunshot wound, Zach replied. The detectives shifted tactics.
Did you ever buy Ashley a gun or anything of that nature?
Man, over the years, yeah. Yeah. I bought her a 380 one time,
What kind?
PPK.
Okay. And does she carry a firearm?
I haven't seen her one in quite a while. Not at all. Mm-mm.
Do you own a 38
I-
airweight?
Yes. And that, I mean, she used to, that's the last thing I ever remember seeing her with was a 38 airweight. And that was, I haven't seen her with that in I don't know how long.
Have you ever purchased a gun for Ashley? Over the years, yeah, Zach admitted. I once got her a .380 caliber pistol, a PPK model. Did she seem bothered by the police questioning you? Honestly, I haven't seen her gun in a while, Zach confessed. The last one I remember her having was a .38 caliber airway, but that was a long time ago. I have no idea where it is. Frustration laced his voice. Look, I had nothing to do with this. I wouldn't even dream of it. I want no part of this mess. The detectives repeated their question, this time for emphasis.
I mean, I'm interested. Did you kill or participate in the death
Absolutely
of...
not. I would
Let him
never.
finish this question.
Okay. Whatever.
Did you kill or participate, or do you have any knowledge?
Zero, Jason. Absolutely none. I don't want to be nowhere near it. No, nothing involved with it. Nothing. I know nothing about it.
Did you kill her? Or were you involved in any way? Do you have any knowledge of the crime? Absolutely not, Jason, Zach denied vehemently. Zero involvement. I don't know anything about it. The detectives cranked up the heat. Zach, who'd been unnervingly calm throughout, was their prime target? Was it the casual vibe of the interview keeping him at ease, or genuine innocence? Zach remained a picture of composure. No nervous fidgeting, crossed arms, or the telltale signs of a guilty man retreating. Instead, he leaned forward, met their gaze unflinchingly, and delivered clear, concise answers. His posture exuded confidence and cooperation. Flat feet planted on the ground and a slight lean towards them spoke volumes. He felt safe with nothing to hide. This was just one of Zach's two practice positions. The other, an equally relaxed open posture, further bolstered his image of innocence. Despite his efforts, the pressure intensified.
I mean, nobody deserves to ever get anything happen to him like that whatsoever. I don't know, buddy. I don't know what happened to her.
And, I'm asking you, as this investigation continues, whether it's text, phone records, computers, financials, is there going to be anything that hems you up or ties you
absolutely
to that?
Nothing.
Well, and not just being involved in the actual murder, but as far as,
What happened to Taylor, Zach? Detective Jason pressed. Honestly, Jason, Zach stammered, the first crack in his calm facade. I have no idea. The repetition of I don't know adds tension and hints at his possible struggle to maintain his composure. This is unbelievable, Zach stammered. Nobody deserves that. But I don't even know what happened. Is the investigation still ongoing? Forensics? Records? Anything that could point to you being involved? Absolutely not, the officer replied. Not just the murder, Zach clarified, desperation creeping into his voice.
Afterwards.
Help and conceal.
If any person in this world was like, hey, Zach, come help me do something, I would run from that as fast as I could.
Well, I mean, just... Hell, it's all over the news.
Yeah.
You've read it.
Yeah, I've read
right?
it, and
And I mean...
trying to swallow it and figure it all. I mean, it's like, it's terrible.
But afterwards, too, covering it up. No way. If someone asked me to help with something like that, I'd run a mile. You've seen the news, right? Yeah, Zach sighed, running a hand through his hair, trying to process it all. It's awful. He paused, then continued, a tremor in his voice.
Afterwards.
Help and conceal.
If any person in this world was like, hey, Zach, come help me do something, I would run from that as fast as I could.
Well, I mean, just... Hell, it's all over the news.
Yeah.
You've read it.
Yeah, I've read
right?
it, and
And I mean...
trying to swallow it and figure it all. I mean, it's like, it's terrible.
Logically, ignoring feelings, I just can't see Ashley doing it. She's brilliant, has a master's degree for crying out loud. But then there's the weapon, a bat or a master's degree. What is it? Sloppy. So sloppy. It just doesn't make sense. His brilliant wife, a master's degree holder no less, couldn't possibly be a murderer. But the evidence was piling up. Suspicious bank statements, cell phone records. Ashley caught buying cement, the very kind used to bury Taylor. Years as a PI had honed his instincts, and logic gnawed at his denial. The detectives needed no further proof. After a tense consultation with his lawyer, Zach signed a warrant for his own phone records, a desperate attempt to cling to his crumbling world. He'd be exonerated, of course. The verdict echoed in the sterile courtroom.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Ashley MacArthur, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder with a firearm as charged in the indictment.
Guilty of first-degree murder. The woman he loved, a cold-blooded killer. Zach walked out of the courthouse, a free man. But freedom felt hollow, a bitter aftertaste to the shattering truth. Ashley MacArthur received a life sentence with a minimum of 25 years served for the shocking murder of her friend. Now behind bars, a stark reality sets in for Ashley. Ashley's story raises a chilling question. How well can you truly know someone? The cracks in her facade, once ignored, became a gaping chasm that swallowed their lives. This case serves as a stark reminder that appearances can be deceiving and the truth can be buried deep. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the darkness. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more true crime stories that will leave you questioning everything you think you know.